I want to welcome you here to our Thursday night X2O Zoom. And I see that we got a lot of people coming in from all over the place. If you want to put in the chat, where you're from. And if you're not a brand partner, let us know as well. You can go ahead and stick that in the chat if you're just looking for information. Tonight is going to be doing things a little bit different. Normally we talk a lot about the water. We're going to cover some of that. And we're going to talk about the X2O. We're going to talk about Lifewave. But we're going to talk about a topic that I think a lot of you are going to run into that I really want to help you with. And that's how to close a sale or how to make a sale on a high ticket item. A lot of us in Lifewave are used to selling small ticket items, sleeves, multiple sleeves, those type of things. And so my background has been with selling water technology for about 34 years now. I've actually been doing I worked with, sold, and serviced technologies of all different types. Everything from just point of view systems, ozone systems, photo oxidation, whole house systems, ozone, UV. Let me think it. I've done distilled water, ionized water. I've done all kinds of stuff, reverse osmosis. And so for 34 years, I've been doing research and studying and marketing water systems, not just here in the US, but all over the world. I have actually customers from my last company in about 43 different countries. I've been with Lifewave now for almost 4 years, and I got involved because of a physical need. I had a knee surgery that did not go well, a knee replacement. And after that knee replacement, I was in a lot of pain. And so a friend of mine, his name is Ron, he called and says, "Hey, I got something that might help you. I'd like to introduce you to the president of the company." So he introduced me to the president of the company at the time. And I got some patches sent out to me. Used the patches, the X39 and some others, but really didn't get involved for about 4 or 5 months because I was deeply involved with another company selling ionizers. I was top level with that company, and I said I had hundreds of doctors and professional athletes and people all over the world that bought that technology from me, and I would travel and train. So what I want to do tonight, we are going to do a short slideshow or short PowerPoint and show a video or two. But I just want to preface it with saying that, hey, the main topic we're going to hit tonight in a little bit is how to make that sale. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as I share my screen, and once again, I ask you guys to stay muted. And we will get rid of this screen real quick here. Shut that down. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen. So we're going to talk about the future of hydration tonight. And so my name is Jim Gilliland, and I do live in the Pacific Northwest. And like I said, I've had a lot of years in this industry. Even though a lot of people refer to me as an expert in water, I don't consider myself an expert because there's always something new to learn. And we've all been learning that here recently. I've been working with Lifewave for about almost 2 years now, going on about 2 years, that with the X2O, with bringing it to market, getting in the marketplace, using the prototype, tearing it apart, putting it back together again, because that's what I like to do. And then learning everything I can about it. spent a lot of time with David Schmidt back and forth, Wayne Moorhead, Laura up in Ireland, and the rest of the X2O team. And the X2O team has grown quite a bit since I started with them. As was about 4 or 5 people, including the scientists working on it. So let's go ahead and get going here. Once again, this training is for educational purposes only, not medical advice, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Consult your qualified healthcare professional if you're looking for any type of help with one of those issues. So let's play this movie real quick and we'll start here.
Now you can live life elevated with superior wellness through the transformational power of light. Every second, thousands of biochemical signals are sent throughout the body using wavelengths of light. At Lifewave, our products are designed to harness that light in unique ways to optimize ultimate energy flows. Our global community is united by light, offering the promise of health, vitality, and opportunity through the power of synergy. 3 of our groundbreaking innovations together promote the ultimate in healthy living and offer you an opportunity, a 3-in-1 system that can change lives. Welcome to the future of wellness. It begins with X39, our breakthrough light-activated patch that taps into the body's natural ability to renew, restore, and perform at its best. Celergize is a complete cellular energy and recovery system designed to fuel your day, support your mind, and recharge your body. And then, our all-new Lifewave X2O, a patented breakthrough in hydration science that dispenses light-infused water at the touch of a button. This is hydration reinvented. Lifewave X2O, when consumed daily, aids in proper hydration to support the effectiveness of X39 and Celergize, boosting energy flows, nutrient absorption, metabolic activity, oxygen uptake, even activating key physiological responses. A power system of synergy, together more powerful than when separate. An innovative 3-in-1 system to intensify overall effectiveness. Because when your body is powered by light, energy flows and everything comes to life. It's time to build a foundation of hydration, energy, and recovery to fuel you, your body, and your business. Lifewave, the power of synergy. One system making it simple to start, share, and succeed. Awaken your potential. Experience the power of synergy. Share the light. Lifewave.
Okay. Most of you know this by now. Every cell in your body depends on water. Hydration impacts energy and performance, just like we saw in that video. Not all water performs the same. Now, I say that for a couple of reasons. A lot of people think that they don't think of quality water, they think of quantity of water. Our bodies are about 70 to 75% water if we're properly hydrated. But we drink water throughout the day, and we don't think about the quality of that water. We think about the quantity. We have to have our 6 or 8 glasses of water a day, as our doctors tell us to drink. And I say this is 6 to 8 glasses. How big a glass? 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce, 14. What amount? But what quality? Now, one thing that I've worked on over the years is microclustered water. Microclustered water is being water molecules are sticky and they stick together and they become clusters. Most water that you find in tap water, well water, bottled water is clusters, larger clusters, anywhere from 18 to 70 plus molecules per cluster. So if you think about this, I was given this example to one of the doctors that we were speaking with the other day. And, you know, in our body, we have what we call aquaporins. And those aquaporins are cellular openings that allow the hydration to enter into our body. And so think about a chain link fence. The chain link fence, okay, you got that chain link fence, you have the openings in the chain link fence, and you're throwing baseballs and ping pong balls and golf balls and basketballs and footballs and all these different size clusters, large objects at that chain link fence. And those openings in the chain link fence represent your cellular openings, okay? So those aquaporins. So a lot of that isn't getting in there. Matter of fact, your average water that your normal person consumes is only about 20% of that water actually is getting into that cellular openings. So because it's large cluster water. And it's important because when the water goes in, not only is it washing out the acidic waste, but it's delivering nutrients. It's hydrating the body. It's also delivering everything that's in water, including with our technology, the light. So as you look at water, don't just look at the quantity, look at the quality. So passive hydration. What is passive hydration? Basically, it's what we consume throughout the day. And if it has limited cellular efficiency, we want to, once again, focus on the quantity, not the quality, not the quantity. There's certain people that have kidney issues. Once again, we don't make medical advice here, but they are dealing with kidney issues. And they can only drink so much water. So if they can only drink so much water, we want to make sure that water that they are drinking is the best water possible. So earlier today, I had one of my brand partners, who was also with that prior company with me, contact me and said she wanted to talk to people at a presentation tomorrow. And she needed something to show them as far as the pH and the ORP. Well, the pH, I did this today, just a couple hours ago. I measured the water as it came out of my X2O, and that's a pH meter. So it's actually a multi-reading meter. It does pH, ORP, parts per million, temperature, all that stuff. And the water was 9.4 pH. Now, over the 8 months I was testing the original technology before we came out with the one we have today, it always stayed pretty consistent, about 9.4. And so I've got no doubt that our water will continue to read 9.4 over the year, 2 years, whatever, you're drinking the water, that, you want to make sure that the machine's clean. I don't think we're going to have a problem with getting that, or there's that pH of 9.4. Your body's pH should be about 7.365 to 7.4. And just remember, when we talk pH, the water does not affect the pH of your blood. Okay? The body does that. God designed our bodies to regulate that. It's the rest of the interstitial fluid in your body. So when you drink a 9.4 pH water, your body, unless you're under a lot of stress or there's some other issues going on, should stay right about that 7.365 to 7.4. Most Americans are less than that. They're acidic. The acidity is caused by the things we eat, the things we drink, stress, not enough sleep. They cause our body to become acidic. We don't want the acidity. Acidity is good in the body, but we don't want to be acidic all the time, okay? So it's a balancing act between acid and alkaline. We call it homeostasis. And when you hit that homeostasis and your body is about that 7.365 to 7.4, you're at that homeostasis. Now, that being said, the pH of every opening in your body is different, okay? And so if you want to test your pH, go get some quality pH strips. Don't use litmus paper. Check your pH in the morning. Second void of urine midstream in your mouth, your saliva, before you put anything in your mouth, even water, and do it then half hour before each meal and at nighttime, and just take the 1 week average and see where your pH is. Now, David Schmidt, he sent me out a machine to start using and testing about 8 months ago. He says, Jim, just drink 1 to 2 glasses of water a day on an empty stomach. Well, I know he knew that I've been involved in the water industry for a lot of years because, that's what our topic's been, our discussion for the last couple of years is I'm used to drinking alkaline water, but a lot of you aren't. A lot of you drink water that's neutral at best. It's required by law to be neutral. And so we want to do is drink this water when you first start drinking it, only 1 to 2 glasses a day. Because if you go too much alkaline really quick, you're going to get some detox symptoms. I'm not saying they're bad to have, but I'm saying detox symptoms can cause things like diarrhea. It can cause a headache. So when you get your system, start with your 1 or 2 glasses of water a day. Now, there's other of us that have been, drinking alkaline water for a long time. I can drink this water 8 glasses, 10 glasses a day and have no problem with it. In fact, I drink about 6 to 8 glasses of X2O water a day. And so, but I want you guys to see that the pH is about 9.4 pH. So the pH is a 9.4. 9.4 pH. So, if any doubt, this tells you what it is, 9.4. I've been testing water for a lot of years, and this is the pH of the X2O system. Hold steady at 9.4 pH. So, remember, this is not an ionizer. It does ionize the water, but it uses light infusion. This technology is all about light infusion. So, the byproducts of the water, as far as the antioxidants and the pH and the microclustering, are icing on the cake. Now, you heard the water is hydrogen-rich water. So, hydrogen, H2, is very healing to the body. Once again, like I mentioned earlier, we are not an ionizer. We do ionize the water. That's just, like I said, that's a side product. That's just something that David had the genius to add to the system. So, but do not compare us with other ionizers in the market. We are not an ionizer. We are a light infused water technology. Totally different, like comparing apples and oranges. We infuse 6 photons of light in the water that captured in the water as we drink the water to release into our body. So I'm going to show you this real quick here. Okay, so I was asked to measure the ORP on the X2O. So I'm going to go ahead and disperse the water, and we'll get the ORP. ORP standing for negative millivolts. ORP, oxidation reduction potential. Negative 564, negative 570, negative 571, 572, still going up a little bit, 575, 577, 579, okay, so right 578. So we're settling out right about 578 ORP, negative ORP. That's oxidation reduction potential. In other words, the potential to reduce oxidation in the body. We have a negative. Okay, so once again, you got negative, it reads positive. If it reads positive, it's oxidizing the body. Oxidation is like slicing an apple or a banana. It starts to turn brown. That's oxidation. Or you leave something out in the rain and it starts to rust. Oxidation. I'm a big collector of antiques, and I have old wagon wheels. And the outside the wagon wheel and also the interior bands, when there are weather, they rust pretty quickly. So every few years, I'm replacing those wagon wheels with some new wagon wheels because of the rust, the oxidation. So think about in your body, oxidation. A lot of fine lines and wrinkles come from oxidation or quick aging, fast aging. Now, I'm 70 years old. I want to slow down the aging process. I want to slow down the oxidation that's going on in my body. So as you consume this water, it helps to reduce oxidation by a negative millivolt on the water. A negative millivolts, or ORP, think of, instead of oxidation reduction potential, it's a potential to reduce oxygen. So we take tap water, we put it in the system, and the system filters it first of all. People said, well, it's going into a plastic container, on the side. And isn't that bad? Well, no, first of all, that reservoir does not off gas into the water. David, one thing we've had a lot of discussions. And one of the discussions are, do we have anything in the system that could off gas into the water? And so I was a stick in the mud on that. I pushed really big time to begin with, make sure there's nothing in the machine that could off gas. And so, but think about this, even if that water chamber, Lexan water chamber, had some type of off gassing or microplastics, it's going to be removed by our filters in our machine. Our filters remove PFASs, forever chemicals, microplastics. They takes it all out before it goes into, it's kind of like a helix coil. That's that chamber where it is infused with photons of light. So that's what we do different. It goes through the filters. The filter helps to make the water alkaline and also hydrogen rich. And people say, well, our machines produce hydrogen through using power running across titanium platinum plates in the ionization process. Well, that's good. But no matter which way you look at it, H2 is H2. Okay? Hydrogen is hydrogen. If you don't believe me, do some research on it yourself. Then we drink the water and we start getting hydrated. So as you drink our water, first thing you put in your mouth, because micropressure, I like to do is hold the water in my mouth, the first, glass of water in the day. I hold the water in my mouth and just let it absorb, because it starts absorbing in the mouth. And so, especially people that get up in the morning, they got a little headache or a little hangover or whatever it might be from, my daughter gets menstrual headaches, those type of things. I don't know what you call them. So you just put the water in your mouth and let it start absorbing. Then you swallow it. And it goes, into the stomach and then to the small intestine before it eats what they call the duodenum sweep. It's already absorbed into the body. So the water being hydrogen rich, the best thing you do is drink the water fresh from the X2O. Fill up your glass, drink it down. Don't sit there and hold it or stir it around, because the more you agitate it, the more it sits there. The hydrogen in the water is dissipating. Hydrogen is lighter than oxygen, so that's why you don't put this type of water in a plastic bottle. If you're going to fill up a glass bottle, you can put it in a glass bottle, put a tight lid on it, a cork in it, and so the hydrogen doesn't escape, because the hydrogen is very healing to the body. God designed your body to heal itself. You put the right things in, and one of the things you put into it with this water is hydrogen. So your body does what it needs to do with that. So absorption, once again, is just the beginning. The water must reach the cells, and cellular hydration is key. So we get the water in our bodies, we start hydrating the cells in our body, delivering the light into the body, because that light that's captured with those photons of light is released once you get it into the body. So now we use our patches on the outside of the body to reflect the light that our bodies emit, and then we're drinking water into the body. And now with the cellular eyes, once we've activated and woken up those cells, stem cells, whatever it might be, we want to keep them healthy and hydrated. Cells regulate water entry. We talked about that. And there's specialized channels to move water and control its efficiency. The body knows where you need the water. It knows where it needs the energy. And it knows where it needs the light. So, once again, we have advanced multi-stage filtration, and it's hydrogen-rich water. It's light-based technology. So let's talk a little bit again about ionizers. A lot of people, out there are saying, because we've made posts on Marketplace, not Marketplace, on Facebook Lives, those type of things. Don't put it on Marketplace. You get booted out of the company. You put it, anyhow, if you make a post on Facebook Live or on social media, there's going to be a lot of haters out there. The company that sells the water systems out there, ionizers, they're a big company. And we're going to talk about how they sell their systems here in a couple minutes. But there's also the hydrogen bottles out there. Remember, we are not an ionizer. Don't get in a battle with these guys about being an ionizer in the set. Ionization is just like I said, it's a side effect of what the water does. It's just the side. It's like the icing on the cake. We need to focus on, we are a light infused water technology. No one else in the world has what we have. And they say, well, they start comparing, don't let it rile you up. Don't even address it if you don't know what to say. Just remember this. 2 different technologies, apples and oranges, 2 different things. Last week I talked about my Corvette and my pickup truck. My pickup truck, it's got its function. It gets me from point A to point B, but we are ranchers. We have a horse ranch, we have livestock, and matter of fact, right now my truck is up in the islands. My wife and daughter up there setting up for the Renaissance Festival this weekend. It's hauling stuff, a big load of stuff. And so that's my truck. My car, my Corvette, it gets me from point A to point B, but it's got all the creature features. It's got everything you imagine. It goes fast. It looks great. But it's different from my truck. They do 2 different things. They both, get me point A to point B, but they're different. Just remember, we are not an ionizer. We are light infused water technology. So, moving on. So you drink water every day, and there's small habits that compound. The habits being you're drinking the water, you're taking your cellulite, your patches. You're going to see things happen in your body that people are going to stand up and take notice. They're going to notice that, hey, person looks younger. He doesn't act like, someone like myself, 70 years old. I've been out working hard today. First part of the day, I was out working hard. I wasn't in here on my computer. I was mowing fields, building a new chicken coop, spreading seed today. I was busy the first part of the day. Then I came in and started working my business. So, small habits, whether it be nutrition or some other habit. You guys keep yourself muted because someone is. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, sorry about someone unmuted themselves. So, moving on. So one thing you always want to think about, this is a product or technology that's going to be used multiple times a day from people that buy it. It's got long-term usage. There's really nothing other than our filters, which we will replace every 6 months or every year, depends on which filter it is and how long you use it. The low cost of per use over time is incredibly cheap. You can't just look at what you pay now. It's got to be over time. The benefits are they're huge. I've noticed the benefits, and I won't go, even though I drink other waters throughout the day, other than my 6 to 8 glasses of X2O, you know what? I'm hooked on this machine. So I'm going to share this with you. This is a great video, and hopefully it plays, because I want you to think about our technology. I want you to think about our technology and other technologies out there and how you're going to share them. Sorry about the advertising.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway came out with flat screen TVs. They're eminently qualified to make flat screen TVs. They've been making flat screen monitors for years. Nobody bought one. And
Sorry.
Dell came out with MP3 players and PDAs. And they make great quality products, and they can make perfectly well-designed products, and nobody bought one. In fact, talking about it now, we can't even imagine buying an MP3 player from Dell. Why would you buy an MP3 player from a computer company? But we do it every day. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal is not to do business with everybody who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. Here's the best part. None of what I'm telling you is my opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, not psychology, biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, looking from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains, and our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. You know, sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and your figures and they say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right. Because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart or you're leading with your soul. Well, I hate to break it to you, those aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision-making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal and want to be a part of what it is that you do? Again, the goal is not just to sell people who need what you have. The goal is to sell to people who believe what you believe. The goal is not just to hire people who need a job. It's to hire people who believe what you believe. I always say that, you know, there's if you hire people just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money. But if you hire people who believe what you believe, they work for you with blood and sweat and tears. And nowhere else is there a better example of this than with the Wright brothers. Most people don't know about Samuel Pierpont Langley. And back in the early 20th century, the pursuit of powered man flight was like the dot-com of the day. Everybody was trying it. And Samuel Pierpont Langley had what we assume to be the recipe for success. I mean, even now you ask people, why did your product or why did your company fail? And people always give you the same permutation of the same three things. Undercapitalized, the wrong people, bad market conditions. It's always the same three things. So let's explore that. Samuel Pierpont Langley was given $50,000 by the War Department to figure out this flying machine. Money was no problem. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian and was extremely well connected. He knew all the big minds of the day. He hired the best minds money could find, and the market conditions were fantastic. The New York Times followed him around everywhere, and everyone was rooting for Langley. And how come we've never heard of Samuel Pierpont Langley? A few hundred miles away in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright. They had none of what we consider to be the recipe for success. They had no money. They paid for their dream with the proceeds from their bicycle shop. Not a single person on the Wright brothers' team had a college education, not even Orville or Wilbur. And the New York Times followed them around nowhere. The difference was Orville and Wilbur were driven by a cause, by a purpose, by a belief. They believed that if they could figure out this flying machine, it'll change the course of the world. Samuel Pierpont Langley was different. He wanted to be rich and he wanted to be famous. He was in pursuit of the result. He was in pursuit of the riches. And lo and behold, look what happened. The people who believed in the Wright brothers' dream worked with them with blood and sweat and tears. The others just worked for the paycheck. And they tell stories of how every time the Wright brothers went out, they would have to take 5 sets of parts because that's how many times they would crash before they came in for supper. And eventually, on December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers took flight. And no one was there to even experience it. We found out about it a few days later. And further proof that Langley was motivated by the wrong thing, the day the Wright brothers took flight, he quit. He could have said, "That's an amazing discovery, guys, and I will improve upon your technology." But he didn't. He wasn't first, he didn't get rich, he didn't get famous, so he quit. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if you talk about what you believe, you will attract those who believe what you believe. Well, why is it important to attract those who believe what you believe? Something called the law of diffusion of innovation. And if you don't know the law, you definitely know the terminology. The first 2.5% of our population are our innovators. The next 13.5% of our population are our early adopters. The next 34% are your early majority, your late majority, and your laggards. The only reason these people buy touch-tone phones is because you can't buy rotary phones anymore. We all sit at various places at various times on the scale, but what the law of diffusion of innovation tells us is that if you want mass market success or mass market acceptance of an idea, you cannot have it until you achieve this tipping point between 15 and 18% market penetration, and then the system tips. And I love asking businesses, what's your conversion on new business? And they love to tell you, oh, it's about 10%, proudly. Well, you can trip over 10% of the customers. We all have about 10% who just get it. That's how we describe them, right? That's like that gut feeling, oh, they just get it. The problem is, how do you find the ones that just get it before you're doing business with them versus the ones who don't get it? So it's this here, this little gap, that you have to close, as Geoffrey Moore calls it, crossing the chasm. Because you see, the early majority will not try something until someone else has tried it first. And these guys, the innovators and the early adopters, they're comfortable making those gut decisions. They're more comfortable making those intuitive decisions that are driven by what they believe about the world, and not just what product is available. These are the people who stood online for 6 hours to buy an iPhone when they first came out, when you could have just walked into the store the next week and bought one off the shelf. These are the people who spent $40,000 on flat screen TVs when they first came out, even though the technology was substandard. And by the way, they didn't do it because the technology was so great. They did it for themselves. It's because they wanted to be first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. In fact, people will do the things that prove what they believe. The reason that person bought the iPhone in the first 6 hours, or stood in line for 6 hours, was because of what they believed about the world and how they wanted everybody to see them. They were first. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So let me give you a famous example, a famous failure and a famous success of the law of diffusion of innovation. First, the famous failure. It's a commercial example. As we said before a second ago, the recipe for success is money and the right people and the right marketing conditions, right? You should have success then. Look at TiVo. From the time TiVo came out about 8 or 9 years ago to this current day, they are the single highest quality product on the market. Hands down, there is no dispute. They were extremely well funded. Market conditions were fantastic. I mean, we use TiVo as a verb. I TiVo stuff on my piece of junk Time Warner DVR all the time. But TiVo is a commercial failure. They've never made money. And when they went IPO, their stock was at about $30 or $40 and then plummeted, and it's never traded above 10. In fact, I don't think it's even traded above 6, except for a couple of little spikes. Because you see, when TiVo launched their product, they told us all what they had. They said, we have a product that pauses live TV, skips commercials, rewinds live TV, and memorizes your viewing habits without you even asking. And the cynical majority said, we don't believe you, we don't need it, we don't like it, you're scaring us. What if they had said, if you're the kind of person who likes to have total control over every aspect of your life, boy, do we have a product for you. It pauses live TV, skips commercials, memorizes your viewing habits, etc., etc. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, and what you do simply serves as the proof of what you believe. Now let me give you a successful example of the law of diffusion of innovation. In the summer of 1963, 250,000 people showed up on the Mall in Washington to hear Dr. King speak. They sent out no invitations, and there was no website to check the date. How do you do that? Well, Dr. King wasn't the only man in America who was a great orator. He wasn't the only man in America who suffered in a pre-civil rights America. In fact, some of his ideas were bad, but he had a gift. He didn't go around telling people what needed to change in America. He went around and told people what he believed. I believe, I believe, I believe, he told people. And people who believed what he believed took his cause and they made it their own, and they told people. And some of those people created structures to get the word out to even more people. And lo and behold, 250,000 people showed up on the right day, on the right time to hear him speak. How many of them showed up for him? 0. They showed up for themselves. It's what they believed about America that got them to travel on a bus for 8 hours to stand in the sun in Washington in the middle of August. It's what they believed, and it wasn't about black versus white. 25% of the audience was white. Dr. King believed that there are two types of laws in this world, those that are made by a higher authority and those that are made by man. And not until all the laws that are made by man are consistent with the laws that are made by the higher authority will we live in a just world. It just so happens that the civil rights movement was the perfect thing to help him bring his cause to life. We followed him not for him, but for ourselves. And by the way, he gave the I have a dream speech, not the I have a plan speech. Listen to politicians now with their comprehensive 12-point plans. They're not inspiring anybody. Because there are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or authority, but those who lead inspire us. Whether they're individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead not for them, but for ourselves. And it's those who start with why that have the ability to inspire those around them or find others who inspire them. Thank you very much.
So, I don't know why we kept getting commercials, but commercial time's over. So let's move on from here. I think I'm stuck on YouTube, so I'm going to stop sharing real quick here. Okay, so I want you guys to think about something. TED Talks, some of the best TED Talks have been on storytelling. So how do you get a person to buy one of our technologies? How do you sell a commodity or a product like we have, or a service in such a busy marketplace? I mean, we're talking lots of water technologies, lots of ionizers, lots of this, lots of that. Remember this, people don't buy because of logic. People buy because of emotions, and they justify it with logic. So think about your house. Why did you, if you own a house, why did you buy a house? Get your car. Why did you buy your car? What was your why for buying that car? If you bought or are buying an X2O system, why are you buying or have you bought an X2O system? Is it to help yourself, to help others? Is it to build your business? What is it? Okay. Remember, are you just selling the features and benefits, or are you hitting on their emotions? You need to do is focus on people, the way they feel about themselves, the way they feel that you feel about them, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Over the years, I built my business not because I had great products. It's because people buy from me because they know me, they like me, and they trust me. And so when I was with that other company for 18 years, when I first came into it, I sold like gangbusters. I sold a ton of ionizers. And then my product sales dropped. They dropped. I thought, what the heck is going on? And in fact, about 2.5 months into it, it's like I'm calling my sponsor. I said, this doesn't work. I can't do this. I don't know what's going on here. And I'm, just crying the blues. And then I had a time where I just sat there on the couch in the living room. And I still know I like to refer to as navel gazing. I'm sitting there with my head down, having my own pity party that I've got, building this business and nothing's selling. Then I realized is this. People that I was talking to, I was fire hosing them, puking information all over them. I went from caring about them and what they need or want to trying to be scientific. I tried to sell them on all these features and benefits and all this stuff. And what I did is I took my eyes off of them and put my eyes on selling a product. I lost reading their emotions. And then when I finally figured that out, after sitting there thinking about it, what had changed? You got that thing is do, plan, review. Do it. You plan out the next step and review it. And so I had to go back to thinking about it. People don't buy themselves into something. They buy themselves out of something. Now, you say, what do you mean by that, Jim? Well, people buy a technology like this because they have a problem, or they have a desire to get healthier, to live longer, to help others. Once you get to that point where you can understand that people are buying a $5,000 or $6,000, I don't care if it's $100,000. They're buying a technology that costs money. Not for themselves, just for themselves, but for themselves and others. So people buy because they have a problem they want to solve. People don't buy a drill because they need another tool. I got a garage full of drills. As a contractor. What I wanted, not the drill, I wanted the hole that the drill would produce. Okay? The same thing with this technology. People aren't buying because they want another thing on the counter. They're buying it because of what it can do. So, when you talk to your customers, talk to them. Find out what they're looking for. People don't buy products or services they buy on your stories. Okay? So think as you want to start selling this technology to people, develop a story. You say, well, I don't have a story yet because I don't have a machine yet. They just came out. Well, there's other stories out there. Now, I'd like to do real quickly here is I'd like a few of you to tell your story, what the water's done for you. Just do 30, 60 seconds, a testimonial about what this water has done. You can go down to the reaction at the bottom here. It's got a heart and it says react. Raise your hand. And I'd like a couple of you to share a story about what this water has done for you. Remember, we're not making medical claims. We're just saying what the water's done for you. So don't talk about symptoms. I had this or I had that. Just what has the water done for you? So if you want to raise your hand, then I'll call on a couple of you, and I can have you unmute and share your story. Anybody? Okay. Casey, you're a few. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Casey.
Yep, there you go. Well, I was in the yard a couple of days ago and picking up dog poop and then picking up some weeds as I was going along the way. I didn't have a midriff top on. I was fully, had a regular top on, and something got underneath my top and bit me in the abdomen. I didn't feel it biting me, but then after a while, I felt this burning sensation on my abdomen, and I looked, and it's like, holy moly, what the heck is that? So I came inside the house. I poured a little bit of the water in a bowl, and I put a cloth in there, and then I wrung it out, and I put that cloth on the bite, and the burning sensation stopped almost immediately. The rash or whatever that was didn't go away immediately, but the burning did. And then the rash did the following day. So I don't know why that happened. I don't know why I thought of that instead of a patch, but I'm glad I did.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you thought of that. Yeah, I've heard of people now that spraying, actually putting in little spray bottles and spraying on their face and noticing a difference, in the way they feel. Thanks, Casey, for sharing that. Kyra, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead, Kyra. You're muted still. Okay. While she figures that out, does anybody else want to share a quick story?
If nobody is sharing, I can share.
Go ahead. Who's this?
This is Nellie Holst.
Hey, Nellie, how you doing?
Doing great, thank you. I shared my story before, but to me, it's remarkable because I started drinking the water while my father was passing away. So the last 4 weeks, my siblings and I, we were going through so much stress, incredible amount. And I was grateful, thank God, for a partner who got the machine before I did. And he was so kind that he said, your father and you need to drink this water. And I go, no, it's your machine. No, don't do that. Anyway, so he brought it, and it helped me to go through that crisis. My mental health, my emotions kept, I kept calm, composed. I had my moments, of course. But I don't think I will ever forget, because compared to my siblings, I was just so much more balanced. And anyway, so I'll never forget that time. 4 weeks of a lot of stress. And I'm grateful to God first, and then the fact that I was drinking that. And I didn't realize that until later. I go, what happened here?
That's great.
Yeah, so.
Thanks for sharing that. Shit. Okay. Stovall. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Yunjin, yes.
Yunjin.
I had a chance to deliver a couple of bottles for a couple of days because I'm in California for my friend's father, who actually passed away a few days ago. Because when they sent him home with the hospice care, nurses didn't really check in his mouth. So his mouth, when he got home, when children were checking, it was full of plaques, yeast, bacteria, which caused the sore. And then just basically some bleeding, open wounds, and brown spots. As you can imagine, so painful. Although we knew he was passing, of course, children wanted to do their best, whatever they can, to provide him a little bit more comfort and moist in his mouth, because he was breathing through his mouth. And within the 12 hours, half day, his mouth cleared up. We're very sad he passed away, but just knowing we got to see what this water did within the short period of time, even though his body was declining, his mouth cleared up. It was just powerful to witness. And, he was at peace. And we believe, because we were spraying a little bit of water also with his mouth, because he couldn't swallow well, but it was trickling down. We knew it was absorbing some in his mouth. And we believe we saw some increased, peace in his even body, that although it was dehydrated, it added something to it. So it was we're just amazed.
Wow, that's awesome. Sorry you lost him, but I tell you what, at least you're able to help him there at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Patty, go ahead and unmute.
Hello, everyone. So I've been using X39 for about 3.5 years. I'm 64. I had a toenail removed, and within 6 days, I had a shoe on. It was very painful, but I was soaking my toe in the water every night, and I was drinking 1 to 2 glasses a day. So I do believe that protocol is really what helped my toe heal in 6 days. So I had the whole entire toenail removed, and it was very painful. But 6 days, I had a shoe on, and I'm good to go. So definitely the water, I feel, of course, the patches. So thanks for letting me share. Love the water.
Patty. That's great. Carla.
Yes, I have a question about the light. What's like the warranty on the actual light that's in the machine? Like, what's the lifespan of that?
Well, if I were to tell you that it's got a 5-year or 10-year lifespan, I'd be lying, because we haven't had them around that long. I know that it is done through an LED type of light, and LEDs will last tens of thousands of hours. And so I guess I can just say this is we have a great technology, and time will tell.
Okay.
Thanks,
So,
Carl.
and will the company, if it goes out, I assume in the first year, they'll replace it, and then after that, if we get the extended warranty, then that would be covered. Okay. And then just one other question. You said your eyesight got better when you got on the water. What kind of, I know you're not allowed to say what it was called, but what kind of symptoms were you having with your eyesight?
I've been wearing, I was prescribed glasses and wore glasses for a lot of years. I started within the first 24 hours. I had to take my glasses off. Matter of fact, in the first couple hours, I had to take my glasses off because now everything was blurry. I had just happened to have a optometrist appointment the following Thursday. I went to the optometrist, and he checks my eyes. He says, "You don't need glasses for seeing." He says, your eyes test at 2015. Says you have excellent eyesight. The only thing you have is what they call astigmatism. So it's way out at a distance. One of my eyes starts to do a little, in, but I can hold my hand like this. And it's like looking through reading glasses. It's like magnifying glass. I got great eyesight. It's just that at the distance. So did it cure my body? No. God designed my body to heal itself. I just had to put the right thing in there. So,
but your vision actually, then the actual vision improved then.
Yes, and I have the doctor's notes to prove it. So yes, and I had noticed other things. I've been drinking the water now for 8 months, and I can say that I'm down over about 24, 25 pounds in weight, but I have increased a lot in muscle, and I've almost doubled the weights I lift at the gym, and I'm 70 years old, and I feel like I'm more in my 25 or 30-year-old. So
Okay,
thanks, Carla.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Oh, can you hear me, Jim?
I can hear you great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. So I've been drinking the water probably since last August, although we had a bit of a break. Mm-hmm. When I first used the water, it was very interesting. I had a foot fungus. We talked about spraying different parts of the body. I did spray that one night before I went to bed. I sprayed it about 3 times, let it dry between spraying each of those 3 times. And I woke up in the morning, that foot fungus was gone, which I would love to ask David what he thinks happened there. But that was fairly miraculous, actually. And since drinking the water, recently, since I've had the second machine, I drink about 6 to 8 glasses a day as well. I can drink that many. I love drinking that. And I know not everybody is there. 1 to 2 is what is recommended. But I love to intermittent fast. And while I'm intermittent fasting and drinking the water on an empty stomach, I have absolutely no hunger. I have no cravings for anything. And not only that, but I just have a sense of mental clarity, a sense of well-being. I guess we could call it our happy water. I just feel fabulous, euphoric almost. And so I absolutely love this water. And I think we're just looking at a whole new level of wellness down the road, consuming it. So thanks, Jim.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you with the feelings, that I guess you could say euphoric or whatever, just well-being. I couldn't believe it. I mean, everybody I give water to gets that kind of like, wow, what's in this water? So it's great stuff. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yes, no problem.
Diane.
Hi. Well, I've been drinking the water for only 2 days. So I got it all set up yesterday, the system, and I had my first glass of water and I was thinking, is this really going to do anything? Well, because I'm pretty clean, I detox all the time, I fast and stuff. I ended up having 4 glasses yesterday and I was fine. But this morning is when I really noticed, and this all started back about a couple of years ago when I was listening. I've always listened to Dr. Stacy, right? So,
oh, she's great.
A couple of years ago, she had a doctor on that was talking about going into all this scientific stuff, like when you urinate and go to the bathroom, if you see bubbles in the water, that could be an indication that you're not maybe digesting protein or whatever. So, so then I started looking, I'm like, oh, I have bubbles. I have a lot of bubbles in my urine. And I've always noticed that. I became aware of it when he said that. So, I'm just always, you flush the toilet, you look at, there's bubbles. So this morning I go to flush the toilet and there was not like one bubble. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. So I wait. And so next time I go pee, I'm like, no bubbles. So I'm like, okay, I got to ask ChatGPT. So I get on and I'm like, okay, so, what is it, protein in the urine, whatever. It says that's because persistent foam they call it foam, can sometimes indicate protein in the urine, called proteinuria something. Protein is supposed to stay in the bloodstream and the kidneys normally filter it out. When extra protein leaks into the urine, it can create a foamier appearance. This is why people sometimes associate bubbles with not processing protein correctly, although technically it's more about kidney filtration than protein digestion. So it says a much simpler explanation is you are more hydrated, your urine is more diluted, and therefore less concentrated and less foam. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm more hydrated. So that I was just so excited. That's my story. Only day 2 of drinking the water.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And so, you know what? Like I said, we don't make any medical claims, but I tell you what, that's something you look and you check and it's there, not there. Hey, I guess you can say it. So there's a couple real quick questions here. Next one we'll talk to Vicky, but says, what kind of water do you put in your X2O? You know what, guys? I have I tell people I test water technologies, and I've been drinking a water, they call it Kangen water, for 18 years. I have my system on the countertop right next to my X2O, and I fill my X2O with what they call clean water. It's filtered water, okay? Because prior to my Kangen water system, I've got very, very, very expensive pre-filtration that was built in Japan, and it erases the memory of the water. It's one of the technologies of many that have been sent to me to do bench testing on and evaluate and write reports. And so clean water is 7.0 pH. I could use my tap water, which is well water. RO and distilled water. I don't use distilled water for anything but my iron or my car battery. It's dead water. Okay. So that's my personal opinion on that. RO water is still got some minerals in it. RO water, if you have it, especially if you're Texas or Midwest where there's a lot of stuff in your water, RO water is good that you can add to that as well. But it's designed for tap water. Okay. Do not put alkaline water into it. If you have one of those ionizers, do not put alkaline water into your water system because it can cause damage. And I can go into a whole thing on that. I really pushed hard on that last over a year ago when we were developing it. And so, because I know the damage can be done to a water system like that, like an espresso machine as well, or anything else that uses water, that minerals can do damage. So let's jump on. Vicky.
Hi, Jim. So I've been doing the patches for about 8 months, and you get the normal skin softness, all that stuff going on. But since I've been doing the water now, it's gone like through my whole body. So it's like my arms are soft skin, my legs are soft skin. I mean, it's just gone everywhere. So, and that's the only thing that's shifted for me over the last month. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, now Vicky, all you do is get yourself a little spray bottle. Fill, when you're filling up your first glass of water in the day, fill up that little spray bottle, just a little one. Mist your face. Mist your.
Yeah, I've done that.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying that as well. Okay, thank you, Patty. You can unmute Patty if you'd like, if you're still here. Just click on the button I just sent you to unmute. Okay.
Oh,
there you go.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Oh, so I had talked about my toe and everything, but I did fall on my shoulder about a month ago. Went to therapy a couple times a week. I've been patching directly there, but then I'm drinking the water as well. I was able to, I guess, go from a rotator cuff injury, severe, to full mobility in about 3 weeks. It was the water, the patches, the Cellugize, and therapy, of course. But I have to say, it definitely, I felt the difference with the water. And I have to say, I'm just in a better mood these days, very happy. I can't explain it. So those are some of the things I've noticed as well.
Happy's good.
Yeah, happy's good. Thank you.
Patty. Advantage Auto. Oh, is that Norma?
No, Tim.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I hate to belabor the point about your vision, but were you nearsighted?
I don't know if you call it nearsighted or what, but it just like I couldn't see. I don't know, nearsighted, farsighted. I couldn't read street signs unless you're right on top of it.
Okay, so you couldn't see things far off.
No, I mean,
and now
further than about, I'd say 50 feet, 60 feet.
So you had to have glasses for long distance vision.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now you're 2015.
I'm 2015 now.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is. My doctor, he was pretty impressed, and I have the reports to prove it. It's like, I just, what? I'm getting older, but my body's getting younger. So that's all I can say.
I have a couple of questions about the machine itself.
Okay.
I understand, if you can clarify the filters, I think somebody said that one filter will last about 150 gallons. The other one will last about 250 gallons. Is that true?
I would just say this. It depends on, I haven't measured. I know that we were drinking it for 8 months here at the house and never did once that I have to replace a filter. I'm sure it was getting close to the time, but the water stayed consistent, during that time. I don't know. I used to be able to do that with my other water technology I sold because I had the oldest water store in the world for that company. And so I knew exactly, because I metered stuff. I'm big into kind of a water snob. I check everything out. So
if either one of the filters, stops working, or the machine, whatever, I'm not sure what it is. I don't have a machine yet, but if it says it has to be changed, does the machine stop and it won't run until you change it?
No, it won't do that. It's not like the other technology I was using. You just basically, I had to learn how to, let me say it, use a hack to get past that. So no. So you know what? I think all it comes down to is your water. I'm on well water. I'm putting filtered water into my machine, into my X2O. You guys can get a Brita filter the water and pour it into that if you want. But like David said, he's designed it to use tap water, which I understand, potable water. But I know I've tested water all over North America, different parts of the world. And some of the water here in the U.S. It'll clog up a filter real quick because it's not good. So I think every area will see a little bit different, but the filters are so affordable compared to everything else out there on the market right now. So,
well, there's two concerns that I have. Is one is all of a sudden the filter says, you can't use it, and the machine shuts down. So you got to wait until you get filters. And then the other thing is, if we had any kind of like COVID had supply issues and you can't get filters, does that mean that your machine's not going to work until all that's cleared up, or will it continue to work and just won't filter the water?
I think that it'll continue to work, but remember this, the filters are designed to take out microplastics, forever chemicals, herbicides, and pesticides. So in my house, I have extra set on hand already. If I ever run into that, I haven't had to do it yet, but I would just have an extra set on hand. But, there's some great pre-filters out there that you can put on there to protect your filters. I think the reason why mine 8 months and no notification is because I was pre-filtering every water in my house. I filter my shower water. Only water that doesn't get filtered in my house is the toilet water, because, like I said, I know what's in our water. I know what our biggest biggest entry place for water into our body is when you're taking that hot shower. It's going through your skin and you're breathing in. Now we're drinking water. So I would just get an extra set of filters. They're not expensive. Just get them, have them on hand. God forbid we have another pandemic, we just don't know. So
right. So, well, my main question about that was, it will not shut down.
Not that I've seen, because mine hasn't shut down at all. In fact, I've never received a notice. So I could ask David that. In fact, you could ask David that. He'll be on our call again in about 2 weeks. He asked me to, set aside another time for it. So,
because to me, that's an important thing, because
it is. But I said I would just buy an extra set of filters to have on hand. I've consumed my water for 8 months before I got my new system, and never had to replace the filter. So, it's 6 months and a year is what he says. 6 months on one, 12 months on the other. Well, I exceeded that 6 months. So, okay.
Well, I'm sorry. Is there anything in the machine that will, like if you have hard water, is there anything in there that will, get caked up with anything, or what?
I would say this. if it's potable water and you will drink it into your body, I don't think you have a problem putting in the water into the machine. But there's certain filters out there. Like I said, I use a pre-filter on my water systems because I want the best water. And so Home Depot, Lowe's, they all have, great cartridges for removing hard water and those things in your water, or you can get an RO system. But you know what? I don't think that's not going to be a big issue. Let's real quickly jump over to Norma. Norma, go ahead, and then we'll finish up with Jane.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I am on the water now for 7 days. I had my granddaughter drop by when I was about to drink my first glass. Gave her a glass. She's 12. She said, "Oh, Nana, my head is tingling." But me, I felt it through my entire body. I felt young, like I had that excitement that I felt in high school. 2 days on the water, that second night, I didn't have to get up to use the bathroom, and I've had to do that for 7 years, maybe even longer.
Yep.
And so in all these days, absolutely no getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And I'm just absolutely shocked that it happened that quickly. And so I've noticed other things, but I'll let someone else share. Thank you.
No, I agree with that. Norma, my wife's the same experience. Usually up 2 or 3 times a night. It's like she's sleeping through the night. I haven't had that problem, but my problem is I got to set an alarm clock now in the morning because the other day I slept 9 hours and 40 minutes. It's like,
wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah. And one other thing, I spray my eyeballs and then my face. I mean, I spray right into my eyes. I spray up my nose. I spray in my ears, just because it's doing something to hydrate, everything inside. My vision, I mean, it was like an hour later, I went out to the car. It was like I had this clarity to my vision. Like it was like Jesus had walked by and went boing. Supernatural vision. I'm just saying.
You know what? I don't know. All I can say is it happened to me too. It's like putting the right thing in, your body does what it needs to do with it. So,
maybe Jesus was thinking, or this Psalm 103, renewing the dew of our youth. I mean, this really is doing that. I'm turning 76 in a couple months, and it's amazing how.
I tell people all the time that, David Schmidt, I was in Greece with him, and he said to me, I said, "So how are you getting all these ideas?" He said, "Jim," he says, "I'm in Bible study every night." He says, "I study the Word of God, and then I'm in prayer." And he says, "The Lord gives me downloads." And so
that's it. That's the key. That's the
right.
ticket.
So, thanks, Norma.
Jim. Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Okay, Vicki, and then Jane. Vicki.
Sorry, Jim, I forgot to take my hand down. I already shared.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jane, go ahead. Are you still there? Hello, Jane. There she is.
There we go. I had surgery on Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th. I've had my water machine since April, and it was reconstructive eye surgery. And they tell you, of course, you can't have anything to drink for 5 hours before surgery. And typically, anyone that's had any kind of surgery, you have cotton mouth by the time they're ready to take you into the OR. So I drank 16 ounces at 2:15 in the morning, another 16 ounces at 4:30 in the morning. My surgery was supposed to be at 10. It wasn't until 11. I was fully hydrated, completely hydrated. Post-surgery, I did patches and drank the water and sprayed the water in my face. I'm an esthetician. And when I went back for my post-op, the doctor goes, "What have you done? Your bruising is almost gone." And we're talking, I look like somebody punched me out pretty good. So I am duly impressed with the water. I drink about 4 glasses a day, and I do put reverse osmosis in my machine because that's what I have. I go between alkaline and reverse osmosis prior to the machine. So I put reverse osmosis into my machine.
Good. Yeah, RO water may change the flavor a little bit, but you're taking care of your machine by doing that. So, okay, well, Elizabeth, did you have another question?
Yeah, I just have a really quick question. I apologize for coming in right at the end. I'm leaving for North Carolina tonight for 9 days. So I just, short of calling you after this is over, what should I do with my machine? Thanks, Jim.
Okay. One thing I do is if you guys are going to go out of town for, a couple weeks, do this. Drain your machine, pull the filters out, and put them on top of like a coffee cup or something else so the water can drain out of it. The filters are designed to catch stuff in your water, bacteria. And if they sit there with that water in your filter and you also drain your reservoir, just take it off and dump it out. The reason I say this is because I've seen so many people, they'll go away. In fact, one of my customers, they say they go away every year for 3 months and they go to the Philippines. And they let the water sit in their machine. And I said, if you could see the kind of stuff that grows in your filter and your hoses in your machine, you would never do that. So turn it off, take the reservoir off and then pull your filters out, put them on top of a coffee cup or something and just put them in the refrigerator and let them, drain.
Okay. And even if it's just for 9 days?
9 days, I think it'd be okay. But what you want to do is I would go ahead and still... 9 days you should be okay. Just go ahead and turn your machine off. And then if you don't want to drain it, when you get back, let it run 2 cycles through. Because remember, you moved all the stuff out of the water through the filters. The only thing I worry about is the filters. The rest of the machine, the water's clean in. It's not going to mess up the light infusion tank or anything else. So if it's just 9 days, I think you're fine. I would say anything more than 2 weeks.
Okay. And did you say unplug it, Jim?
You don't have to unplug it.
Okay.
One thing I would encourage you guys to do, those are still,
Thank you.
Probably still here, but one thing is get yourself, if you don't have it already, a GFI strip, something that's got a surge protector on it, because if you have a power surge or power outage, if power comes back on, you don't want to fry, you probably fry your power plug first. And if it got past that, you fry your machine. All my systems are on GFI and surge protectors. It's protect your investment.
Great points. Thank you.
Well, you guys have a great evening. We went long tonight, real long, but you know what? We got the questions answered. You guys have a great evening. I will post this late tonight, and you guys can watch it later on or share it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Have a good
God bless.
Bye-bye. God
Appreciate
bless.
all the information. Very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Take care,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.